All right, on Top 5 tonight, we got a good one. We're celebrating the greatest bar of all time, the Boardy Barn in the Hamptons, listing our top 5 Boardy Barn moments of all time.
Welcome to Top 5 with Joey Cassata. Starring Joey Cassata.
Team Jesus, my friend.
No! Am I walking around park?
Co-starring Ernie Palooza. And the Doctor, Tommy Snyder.
Goddamn.
Now here's your host, Joey Cassata.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Top 5. I'm your host, Joey Cassata.
And I'm Andrew, the cab driver.
Are you wearing a Speedo?
Of course.
I hope not.
He can't stand up. He doesn't want to cause a frenzy.
Nope.
And we got back, by popular demand, the biggest head on the block, Big Head Billy. What's up, Bill?
Thank you. Thank you for having me back. This is like the shortest time span between visits. So I probably put on 5 pounds since then. I think it was like last week. I'm trying to get on The Biggest Loser. So I only have like another 50 pounds to go.
Now, we had a great episode last time. We got some amazing feedback. So we had to have you back for this episode. Obviously, you were a big part of the barn. And another big part of the Boardy Barn. We had to have this special guest on. This is a rare occurrence. We almost lost him a while back to COVID, but no one could kill this man. He goes by one word, or 2 words, really, I guess. He's known by the Count. There he is. What's up, Count?
What's going on? How's everything going?
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3 beers.
So, and we also have another special guest. She kind of tuned in earlier and she might come back on later. We'll edit her in. We had to get 2 Boardy Barn All-Stars for this episode. 2 Boardy Barn All-Stars. We had to go with the Count, and the other one is the infamous Little Beast. And you'll see her later. I'll edit her in right now, and then she'll call back later. It's a random Thursday night in the middle of the spring. She tried to call in, but she's bombed out of her mind. Oh,
These people.
Are they drunk?
Where are they? In the mall?
Where the hell are you?
Little Beast, and we're partying.
Denise.
Big Beast has been drinking all day.
He's flying a kite.
All right, guys.
Joe's
All right,
being
guys.
safe.
Guys, we're outside. We're out of the party right now, okay? We're out of the party. Are we live yet? Or no?
No, you're not live. This is recorded.
Now there's 2 Wills.
There's Will.
Hold on. I gotta find it.
There we go.
We've never done this before, so we don't know how.
We'll talk.
Listen, I have been on a 1-week bender.
Listen,
I just got back from Florida and I've been drinking all week.
We're really upset about the news about the bar. We're very, very upset. How are you guys taking it?
Where are you right now?
I don't know, but they're definitely drunk.
So hold on. Obviously, you two are not going to be a big part of the show because you barely can speak. Introduce yourselves.
I am Kelly.
I like this better.
I'm Little Beast, and this is Big Beast.
I'm Kelly.
We just want to have. We want the people to have a little perspective for when we talk about you guys too later. So
This is just a regular Thursday night.
Regular Thursday night, drinking vodka, just normal.
Bacardi and Coke. That's it.
She might vomit later and I'm leaving.
All right, I got to turn that down. Here we go.
She's 100% vomiting later.
Let's talk about something. Let's ask us some questions.
So we're talking. We'll edit this later. Tell us some of your favorite barn moments.
Oh God,
There
there's
was
too
a
many.
night that I beat the shit out of her for disappearing when she got thrown out.
I
Dean
forgot.
dragged
Was
me
it?
over her. That was the same night that I was washing my hair with no water and shampoo. Because I was
and fully clothed in the shower.
fully clothed.
I
I came out of the shower, saw her stumble out of a cab laughing, grabbed her by the hair, and beat her into the rocks while Dean held me back and said, "Holy shit, you have freak strength."
I mean, there's so many stories. There's
Sure.
a lot of stories that can't even be mentioned.
One of the best times was dressing up in costumes, and we have that picture, and it's always such a core memory. Every week was a good time.
Let me tell you, the barn, it was a culture. It was like Woodstock, Man on the Moon, Landing on the Moon, and the barn. Like, it's up there.
Yeah, that could be the name of the episode, Ern.
It's a pop culture. It's culture. Really, there should be a documentary on it.
How do you guys feel that it's gone?
I wanted to go.
That's why.
I was planning on going this
I wish
summer.
we had one more time at the barn. However, I technically didn't turn 30 since I blacked out at the barn.
I first went to the barn at 21 when you recruited me, and I just never left. We're at the after party.
You were 21 that year when the first year at the barn?
I was 21. Yeah.
Wow.
I just turned 21.
No, don't forget about the after party from the barn when we would go to the Foggy Goggles
Oh, God.
and suck down funnels off the wall where everybody sucked down funnels. In this day and age of COVID, that would never happen.
There was all mold inside of those funnels. You could see it.
This is why I never got COVID, because of the Boardy barn.
Oh, well, there's a lot of reasons why you never got COVID.
Then Will
I'm
should have never
immune.
got COVID.
I'm immune. Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm immune. Well,
I remember why we call you two the Beasts. This is the perfect way to introduce the Beast to our audience. What do you think, Ern?
I'm just saying.
This is a work night.
Right. It's just a random Thursday night.
Not me. Here's Mother
That's
Beast.
you, Joey.
Oh,
Joey Licious.
Oh, Joey Licious, how the hell are you, Joey?
yes.
How
Hi,
are
Mama
you?
Beast.
You're looking good.
That's Mama Beast.
Ooh.
What?
You look so good. He doesn't age from the Hamptons. He looks like the front from the Hamptons. Never
Oh.
age, Joey. They age.
Shit.
But not you.
Joe, you're gonna have a new co-star.
She is easily my favorite Beast.
Okay, well, the party's ending. Any more questions before we exit the building?
Yes. Say give us one more barn story. A quick one.
Oh God. I have to think. I mean,
I
I
don't
don't
remember her barn stories.
That's a good point.
Dean-
Can't remember.
Oh, how can we forget? That was the best sushi I ever had.
Oh,
Oh, good one.
that's on my list.
Yeah, that was after the barn, and oh my God, Monday mornings were just the worst. Like the hangovers and remember when?
Whoa. Hold on. You never had anywhere to go on Monday morning. What are you talking about?
Yeah, because you called it and quit for me. Remember?
That's right.
You abandoned your post.
So I had a job, and I said I really don't want to go in. And Joey goes, "Give me the number. I'm going to call." And Joey calls my boss and goes, "Hey, Susan, this is the little Beast." I think you left the message and go,
This is the little beast.
I quit. And they sent me a letter in the mail that said, "You have abandoned your position. Please turn in your clothes."
Where were you working?
Yeah, where were you working?
I was working in Manhattan as a concierge, like the people who welcome you into the building in the morning. And I had a
Really
uniform,
working.
and I said, "This job sucks." And Joey called and quit for me.
Can you imagine her greeting you at the door Monday morning after the barn, all barned up still? Come on.
There was one week that it was Wednesday, and I remember messaging you, and I said, "I still have."
Yes, I remember that. It was Wednesday. On a normal week, why haven't you showered till Wednesday? Never mind a barn week.
Yeah, after the barn. Oof.
It was, oh my God, disgusting. Now you know how gross that barn was. It was Wednesday. And I go, "Joey, I still haven't showered."
Oh,
I got another story for you, but I'm gonna call you guys back.
Go.
Okay, I got another story. I'll call you back. Bye. I gotta go.
All right. I don't even
All
think
right.
we should do a show. That's it.
That was like a post-barn conversation.
So listen,
you were there.
but we had to get them to replace the doctor this week. Doctor's in Disney with the family, and we had to get these two classic Boardy Barn All-Stars. So let's tell the people, Billy, what is the Boardy Barn? Most people probably don't even know what it is.
It is a mecca, is to say the least. Was open. Unfortunately, it's closed now, but open on Sundays. When we started to go, it was only open on Sundays from like 4 to 8 o'clock. Giant tent. I remember reading an article that on a Memorial Day weekend, they would sell more beer than Yankee Stadium. And it only held maybe 1,000 people.
Incredible.
I would say max.
Is that not an incredible? Hold on, slow down. Is that not an incredible stat? So again, not to fast forward, the Boardy Barn is a bar in Hampton Bays in New York, in Long Island, that we would attend every Sunday. We all had a Hampton house every summer. We rented out a house, got 20 people to do shares in the house, and it just became a party house like the movie Animal House, if you ever saw that movie. And every Sunday was the climax of the weekend that we would go to this bar called the Boardy Barn. And it was a bar that was literally just a tent in the middle of a field. And like Billy said, it probably held, I don't even think it held 1,000 people, Bill. It had to be even less than that, right? But let's call it 1,000. It held 1,000 people, but the stat was, and I remember reading this too, that on a Sunday afternoon, they sold more beer at the Boardy Barn than at Yankee Stadium, which held 60,000 people. So Ernie, you do the math. Go ahead.
It only sold that much when we were there.
But I mean, I'll stand by it that this was to me the greatest bar experience of all time. This was, for years and years and years we were going there. Ernie, what was the first year you attended the Boardy Barn?
Billy probably knows exactly because it was 2 weeks after the first time he went, but I'm gonna guess 95.
Yeah, I think actually I remember because I started my job in the fall. I think it was 96, summer of 96. And it's one of my top moments. So I'll go into my first time that I went in that weekend. But really, Eddie Romeo was the one that started it all because he had a share house in the Hamptons and he invited us out. And at first, none of us really wanted to go. And then me, him, and Ray Testa went one weekend. And just a funny story about Eddie. Eddie was very particular about his hair. So he pulls over the car, he runs into a deli, he comes out with like 5 pints of Poland Spring water. So I'm like, oh, what's up, man? Is the water not good up there? He goes, nah, my hair doesn't come out good. I rinsed my hair with the Poland Spring, because he was very particular with his hair. So he had, 5 1-gallon Poland Spring waters just so he can rinse his hair. But he one day he was talking about, he's like, you should come up. No one comes up. None of my friends come. All these people have their friends come up. So I went, me, him, and Ray Testa went, and when I got back, I think I was telling Ernie and Tommy and everybody, and then Eddie could care less who went. And then we all went back up, and that was it. It was over.
That was probably a year before. I think my first year was 97. So that was probably the year before I started going as well. And then, like you said, once we started going, we used to go to Eddie's house randomly through the summer. And then I think Ernie was the first one to join Eddie's house, right, Ernie?
I joined summer of 97, and it was the waterbed house, if you're wondering. I'm trying to remember.
Our
room had a waterbed in it.
I don't remember. I'm not trying. I don't know if I remember. That wasn't the Spider House, right?
No, I think the Spider House. I don't think I was a share at the Spider House. I think Spider House was the year before.
Oh, so that was my first year. Then I did go in 96. Because so for people who we used to describe each year's houses by a trait. So the Spider House, when we used to sleep over, I remember sleeping on 2 kitchen chairs because I didn't want to sleep on the floor because they were infested with daddy long leg spiders. Infested. Like if you laid on the floor, there's a chance you were being carried out by the spiders.
I think that, and keeping with the name of houses, Eddie's house, the first house I went to, had a duck sanctuary next to it.
Oh, God.
So we used to call that the duck house, because. So needless to say, all the names. And one other thing about the barn, either you loved it or you despised it. When it closed, I posted something on Facebook, and Eddie's brother Michael says, "That's cesspool." That was the words that came out of his mouth.
And
so it's probably an accurate description of it.
It was
ahead,
really
Will.
the anti-Hamptons bar, though. It was not.
Yes.
It was
Right.
everything you think of the Hamptons. The Boardy Barn wasn't.
You're so right, because
Great
the
fucking
Hamptons,
time.
you know,
It wasn't like hoity-toity with all these rich people. This is just like party animals getting drunk and beer everywhere and just
right.
a hell of a good time, you know?
When people think the Hamptons or the Jersey Shore, they think, you know, the Jersey Shore from MTV, those guys, and Cousins and all that stuff. And it's true, most of the Hamptons was like that. But the Boardy Barn was, like you said, the anti-Hamptons. It was all just pure fun, great music, which we'll insert some music in this episode of some of the playlist of the music. But it was just, you know, the reason why you either loved it or hated it, you were disgusting when you left this place. It was, number one, you were a sweaty mess because it was under a tent filled rim to rim, you know, with people. And, you know, the big thing at this Boardy Barn was you would spill or even spit beer at each other. You'd pour beer over each other's heads and spit. No, but everyone 10 minutes after entering the Boardy Barn, you were drenched. Am I wrong?
Oh no, 100%. I had to bring money in a plastic bag in my pocket.
Yeah,
with
right,
my
exactly.
license. There was no carrying your wallet.
Me too. I used to have stuff
say-
in my sock. Go
I would
ahead, Ernie.
say spitting beer on someone took the place of a pickup line.
And
Yeah.
also
You're-
you had your special shoes. You had your bond shoes, especially for the bond.
Oh
Barn-
yeah,
because
they were
wa-
useless.
And
For one
exactly,
visit.
because once you wore shoes to the Boardy Barn, you weren't cleaning them. Those were the only shoes you should wear again, because
You might spray them with the hose that night, but
yeah, but they would never
That
be
was it.
okay again. The only thing that
oh
would
no,
maybe
they would be
get
disgusting. But you
only-
just get the
the grime. Yeah, the only thing that maybe was sometimes would work, Ernie, was when we would just jump right in the pool fully clothed with the shoes on. Sometimes that would get rid of because you would have literally like gunk on the bottom of your shoes at the end. Anyway, so what we're trying to say is this place was disgusting, but that disgustingness is what made it incredible. Am I wrong?
That and the music.
And then, of course,
yeah, the music was pretty
The
awesome.
music was us. It's just fun music, people just singing along, and they kind of, stuck with a set list, so we kind of knew where we were along the Bond, the Bond journey during what you knew when this song was coming up, what time what
Yeah.
time it was.
Oh, we got about an hour left, everyone.
If we got there at a good time. Yeah. If we were there at a good time.
As long as
so-
I could just spin and spin and spin in the middle of the bar.
We didn't
Raise
need
up the cape and just spin in circles.
we didn't need a watch.
No,
Right.
We told time by what song was on.
I still get sad over God Bless America because I know that it's the end of the Bond.
Right.
American
Yeah, that
Pie,
was
Mr.
the
Clock.
and you could used to tell, like, as the summer went along and that song came on, it was getting darker and darker and darker, and you knew it was
Right.
almost over, and
Well, those last Bonds used to be freezing.
yeah.
Like
By the
the
end, you're
September
right.
Bonds, you would freeze at the end of the night.
So
But you
funny,
was soaked.
just a quick funny story about jumping in the pool. We had a house, and I was responsible for taking care of paying the pool guy. And then on a Tuesday, the pool guy called up and he was going to quit. And I was like, whoa, what do you mean you're going to quit? He goes, you guys do not respect that pool. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, I pulled the chicken palm out of the filter. Right. So needless to say, I had a
I'm gonna
grovel
guess
with
Dean.
him.
I mean, I don't know, but I'll just guess.
No, I know who threw that chicken farm.
Yeah, I know who threw the chicken palm too. But it was one of the
That's why I
funny.
figured,
It was one of the funnier conversations I ever had with somebody. How to calm this guy down. I'll talk to them. This won't happen again. I'm so sorry. But we had paid in full, and it was this guy did a miraculous job, because
He did.
we usually were off on Mondays. I couldn't stay in this house anymore. I had to leave because it was just like a massive mayhem of storm of people just coming out of a cab. And Ernie would buy these chicken carcasses, and people were eating them. There was oil all over the floor.
Oh.
It wasn't a pretty sight.
Well, hold on. Yeah, don't start telling all the stories, because
I
we're going to
won't.
get into our top 5 barn moments.
right.
And that's what this episode is really going to be about. But the main reason is that we're here is we're celebrating the barn, because we just found out, after, I think it opened 1972, the barn, after all these years, 50 years, it's officially closed down. They sold the property. One of the owners passed away recently. So this is the first year that there will be no barn. So, you know, we're back, we're reminiscing about all the stories from that barn. So let's jump into some of the, well, but before we do that,
We didn't start already?
well, we're technically starting right now. We're gonna,
Really? Just put your-
We didn't start.
the memories.
This is like a Springsteen concert. It's gonna last for like 5 hours.
Will, what happened?
What? I'm
I-
coming. I'm just writing down my top 5. I realized it's on my phone and I can't get to it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So,
I'm writing little excerpt things so I know what it is. I'm almost
so we're going
done.
to be listing our top 5 barn moments of all time. Again, they don't have to involve you. They're just a infamous story that lives on forever about the barn, after the barn, before the barn, prep for the barn. There's so many different ways you can go with it. So, I mean, before we wait for Will, why don't we start with you, Billy? What's your number 5 barn story?
So we had a large group of people would always go to the barn, and Ernie was the guy who stood by the bar, and we got a spot, and Ernie would stay there. So everybody would give Ernie $20. I mean, I think one time we went with 40 people went. Ernie had $800 in his hand. So we got there, we were online a little bit, and you know, people ran to the bathroom and come back, and there's not one beer on the counter yet. So I go over to Ernie, I go, what's going on? He goes, he won't serve me. I go, what? So he goes, he won't serve me. I was like, what do you mean he won't serve you? Why not? He goes, he says I don't tip him.
What?
And it's like, what? I said, all the times you've been coming here, you've been tipping him, right? No.
And what is this after years probably,
This is
right?
like a year and a half, right? And then all of a sudden the guy had enough and he's not serving Ernie anymore. And he goes, I don't know what to do. And he has $800 in his hand. I said, well, and we became very good friends with this guy. This guy's name was Charlie. And every time, you know, he saw this group come walking in, he would start pouring beers before we even made our way through the crowd to get to him.
Because we would have the same spot at the bar almost every
Right.
time.
And he would see us. So I told Ernie, you know, just go back over to him, apologize, and give him like $200. So Ernie went back over and he goes, you know, sorry, is just an oversight. I forgot.
I forgot the past 2 years.
He goes, I forgot all about it. I was drunk and everything. And he gave him $200 and the beer started flowing. So just like that.
I love it.
I you know, knowing Ernie and his look on his face and the way he came back, we're in this place where there's beer cups everywhere. People are drunk and we can't get a beer.
I don't think I ever heard that story.
Yeah, it was so funny.
Ernie, how much would beers? When we first started going, 50 cents or
No,
dollar?
this was $1 each. But
Dollar
I
a
thought
beer.
he bought so many, like they were just taking the tip out of the money.
Right. So again, for people who don't understand what we're talking about, Ernie, and I don't know if he loved the job or we just assigned him this job, but Ernie was the guy who would we would all give Ernie $20, and somehow almost every barn that 20 lasted. Every once in a while, Ernie would ask for another 20. And this was more about the time he had to pay for his wedding. He was asking for more money. But $20 would last you the whole freaking day. And you drink the whole day and get destroyed. But Ernie was in charge. He would stand at the bar and we'd come in with, 30, 40 people. So he would say, I want, 100 beers. I want 200 beers, whatever it was. And this guy would just be pouring these beers from the keg in these cups of beer. And Ernie would stay there. And you would literally be, 10 people out and you just raise your hand and Ernie would see you and he would just start passing the beers out. And it was incredible because if we didn't have Ernie there to do that and we had to order our own beers, Billy, do you know the different experience we would have had in the barn? We took Ernie for granted a little bit, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think Ernie was the most responsible, and that's why we let him do it.
Well, I wouldn't say he's
Any of us would have been
responsible,
enough to do
but he was
well.
he
He
was like
drunk to do it. I couldn't have handled it.
He definitely
No.
knew how to make some money off of us. If you get my point. If the
still-
bartender wasn't getting tipped, someone was, and I think it was Ernie.
well, that's what Ernie took his service fee. It's like, I'm not standing there for nothing.
Oh, boy.
Great start, Billy. All right, Count. What do you got at number 5? Come on.
All right, number 5 we touched on, but this is more of a postponed tradition. Well, towards the end, the last couple of years it was, but Ernie decided that he liked these chickens that they had at King Cullen, was it?
Yeah.
One of those places, and we would get. I mean, you think of rotisserie chicken, but we would get like 40 of them, and there would be pieces of chicken. I mean, everywhere on the counter, on the floor, outside. There would just be grease all over the kitchen table and pieces of chicken. And it was so disgusting that you wouldn't go near the kitchen on a Monday morning because it was just gross.
So again, to paint the picture a little clearer, you're talking, the 40 people going to this disgusting bar. And when you get out of that bar, you are a disgusting, drunk mess. But there's one thing you want more than anything, and that's food. So you come back to our house, and we had all of these rotisserie chickens waiting for us on the counter. And Will's not exaggerating. We'd have 30 or 40 of these things waiting for us. And you'd see it was like cannibals coming in through the door, ripping these things apart. No silverware plates, ripping them apart. Chicken grease everywhere, where you literally couldn't walk into the kitchen because you would go flying from the grease on the floor.
I remember this was pretty bad, but when we left, we packed up, we threw all the chicken carcasses into garbage bags, and we left the bags on the side of the house. Well, it turned out we didn't have the right garbage plan, and the guy took one bag, and the raccoons and the crows and everything ripped open all these bags. All there was chicken bones all over the place, baking in the sun for a week. And we came up and we thought, oh my God, like vultures were flying over the house. So we had to don rubber gloves.
Oh yeah,
I found that picture, but
Send
it was one of the
I'll
most
post it right now.
One of the most vile and disgusting things that we had.
Ernie was gagging
See,
the
but
whole
that was
time.
the
He
good thing
almost
about
throwing up the
traveling
whole
with
time.
Dean.
Yeah, we had to
went to the
beg.
Hamptons with Dean on a Friday night. I avoided that because we didn't get there till 10 o'clock. So when I got there, you guys were just finishing up throwing shit out. And I looked at him like, oh, nice.
It was pretty funny. I mean, I remember I forget who called the garbage company, but someone called them and like begging them, we have a health crisis here. To get them to come pick up the bags.
But I remember with the chicken grease, one time, I think it was at the Gouch that came walking in the kitchen unaware, and he literally just went sliding straight into the glass doors, right? Am I crazy?
I
That's about right.
I got a sense of this story real good. We used to go in the pool a certain way, and Gouch's girlfriend said he wanted to join us, but he was too shy. So we said, run full speed out of the bedroom and the pool. And he hit the kitchen, boom, and he slammed into the glass doors real bad. Yeah.
Oh, great start. Come on, Ernie. What do you got at number 5?
Billy was talking about the first time before, 1995, 94. They say you never forget your first time, right? First time I went to the barn, same summer that Billy went up. He went first. He came back and kept telling me what an incredible time it was. I never wanted to go because it was all Romeo's Staten Island crew, and I didn't know any of them. Well, Billy talked me into going. Most chaotic place I ever been at that time. Like Mardi Gras without all the cops. That's the only way that I think of the barn.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. That's a good explanation.
I was up every weekend after that, and the Staten Island crew was pretty cool too, except Dean.
You know what?
But he introduced you to me, so
Well, that's true. I give you.
The first time I met Dean, he was a little intimidating. Him and Eric, those big giant guys or whatever. And Dean's both of them the nicest guys you ever meet. But the first, hey, what's up? You're like, oh no, we're not like, we weren't like that. You know what I mean? Like we were.
They were like guys out of The Godfather.
Yeah. When we first met them, it was kind of funny. Dean had one of the funniest lines, Ernie. I'll let you repeat it. But after we hung out with Dean, we all went to the barn and came back. And Dean was talking to Eddie Romeo. I'll let you finish, Ernie.
Oh well, Eddie Romeo. Dean told Eddie, I like you, the guys. I like your friends. They don't mind getting sloppy. That's one of the nicest compliments I've ever been given.
and you know Dean likes to get sloppy.
Yeah.
Dean will be
Yeah,
on
I
the
knew
list.
Dean, but the first person I met was Joey. Because I walked in the house the first time to Hamptons, not knowing what to expect. And Joey comes up to me and just sticks a funnel in my face. He goes, "You got to do this now." He tells me as I walk in the front door. I'm just
Whoever
like,
you are.
"Here we go."
Welcome.
You could have been a cop coming in to arrest us.
That was what?
Dude,
Penny Lane. So that was because I was younger than you guys. So Penny Lane,
Yeah,
I
Penny
turned
Lane,
21 midsummer there. So
Penny
I
Lane
came
was
the second half of 2000.
No,
2000.
Penny Lane was
No, 2000.
No.
Yeah, I turned 21.
Penny Lane, I think was 2000 because
Was it?
yeah, because I vaguely remember.
No, it's
No,
I think
2001.
2001.
Right,
Penny Lane.
2001.
Maybe it might have been
Right.
2001 because I came down July 4th weekend. I was 21, so it had to be a year later. Okay,
Yeah,
2001.
Wow. All right, great start.
And I
So
only didn't go as the count 1 week. I think the first time at the barn I wasn't the count, and I said everybody's wearing costumes. This is great. And next
Well,
thing I knew, I had a persona.
right, I was just gonna say. I mean, we really haven't even described what that is yet. I don't know if we're gonna wait for one of these picks here, but do you want to tell? Does anyone want to tell the people the story? Why is he the count?
He gave me the name.
I don't
The
know
doctor
why-
gave me the name.
Right, the doctor. Right,
I used to sleep
doctor was
all day.
obviously doctor's part of this. So right, so Will never came out in the daylight. Will was sleep the whole day. We'd be out all night, and he'd sleep the whole day. And you see him come strolling out around, as soon as the sun started to go down. And the doctor
Yeah, maybe.
christened him the Count, like he was a vampire. And sure enough, a couple weeks later, he started wearing a cape wherever he went, including the boarding
Not
barn.
wherever we went. The barn.
Well, most places, and
That's the only place we went.
right, it's the only place we did
That's
go.
true.
And most nights, it wound up at the end of the night that the cape was the only thing that was on.
No, that's true.
Imagine if he called him the giraffe and he walked around with a giraffe costume on.
All right, I got to go in the start. So this involves my good pal, co-host, pal of mine,
Billy?
Ernie Palooza. All right, so this one. So at this point, we're big into wrestling again.
Oh, boy.
And back at our house, we were doing wrestling matches all the time. And, we were hitting each other and body slamming each other. So one time at the Boardy barn, it was very common for you to get thrown out of the Boardy barn because all the stuff we alluded to before, which was the beer throwing and the spitting of the beer, technically wasn't allowed. Everyone did it, but if you did it in excess, you would get thrown out. So at the end of the night one night, we were ready to leave, but Ernie thought it would be a good idea to ask the bouncer to throw him out instead. But he didn't want to just get thrown out. He asked the bouncer, he said, can you please choke slam me out? Can you throw me out? But I want you to choke slam me out of here. And the bouncer's like, what? What are you talking about? Choke slam? I don't even know what you mean. He goes, well, watch. And we were been doing it at the house already. So I kind of demonstrated. You take him like the Big Show in WWE, take him by the throat, pick him up by the throat, and you throw him. So Ernie's begging the bouncer to throw him over the gate to be thrown out.
That's crazy.
Do you remember the rest of that though?
No, what happened?
So if you've been to the Boardy barn, they have an array of bouncers, a massive amount of bouncers who would wear orange shirts. So as this is happening, the bouncers think that that Ernie is getting into a fight, and they all come running over. And as he's taking Ernie and choke slamming him, the bouncer yells out, "He wanted this. He wanted it." And the other bouncers look very confused. Very confused. He's got one arm out like this, like it's okay. And he's got Ernie like this. And he proceeds to choke slam him out. And it was a smart move because the barn was so crowded. Like it was a C's just parted.
You weren't getting out.
And C's just parted, and he walked right out. It was like the greatest thing.
When I had them throw me out, the one time I got thrown out, I asked them to because it was like late July, early August. and it was so hot. I was like ready to pass out. So I said, "Do me a favor, just throw me out, get me out of here." So four of them walked me to the door, and I wound up shaking all their hands at the gate before I left. I was like, "Thanks, guys."
It's like a police escort.
Exactly.
It was our Uber.
Also, you should explain to people, Joe, like that people got to know is that the spitting beer and throwing beer was amongst friends. You weren't throwing it at random parties.
Well,
Well, that's not
They may have got hit
necessarily.
with the backsplash of things and stuff, but you weren't walking up to a random person and spitting in their face.
No, but you would walk up to possibly random people and pour beer on them.
Yeah,
so,
girls.
Right. That's like Ernie said. That was your pickup line. You spit beer at someone.
Like punching them in the arm in kindergarten.
Nowadays, we'd all be in jail.
Perfectly said, Billy. It was like being in kindergarten, but we had beer.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, let's go. Let's get back on track. Let's go back to the count for number 5.
4.
Number 4. I'm
5.
sorry. Number 4.
This is a story that happened my last time at the barn. It was had to be 2008 maybe, 2009, something like that. That's not true. One of my last times. It was my
Okay.
last time there by myself. So I went there and I was with Dean and a couple of people at one of his houses. And I walk in and I'm over by like where they sold the crappy pizza and stuff,
Yep.
like where the phone booth was in that corner. And this girl from a bachelorette party comes up to me and she goes, "Can I take my picture with you? Me and my friends have a picture with you from like 6-7 years ago. They're never going to believe this." And I had to take a whole picture with the cape and everything with this girl. And she said, "My friends are going to die when they see this picture when I get home." And I'm like, I don't even remember taking a picture with her and her friends because I used to be all over the place.
No, but you became one of like the Disney characters at Disney. You were the count.
Yeah, I mean, I used to cut the line. I get announced on the bullhorn. It was great. Mickey would be on the bullhorn. The count is here, and I would just walk up and go on in. No, I didn't have to wait hours. None of us did really, but
This shit's going down. The count's here.
The count is here. The count has arrived. 1, 2, 3 o'clock is here. Good one.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I mean, but you really were. You became a staple at the barn. And I think, eventually we kind of all did. Everyone eventually knew our group. Like we had our area. Everyone knew where we were every week if you wanted to find us.
I mean, they used to post the pictures online.
Yeah.
You know how many pictures I jumped into where they'd be like 2 girls taking a picture, Big Dave would take the picture, and I'm just behind them like this with the cape, and they had no idea I was in the picture. Like it would come out the next week, and they'd probably be like, "What the hell went on?"
Why is this vampire behind me right now?
And Big Dave would just shake his head at me like, "Oh man, the count again."
All right, Bill, come on. What do you got? Number 4.
So this was pretty good. So it's like a Saturday. We're at the beach, and my friend's Uncle Jimmy. Everybody called him Uncle Jimmy. Kerry Prosser, Greg Prosser's uncle. And my cousin asked me, "You going to come down tomorrow?" I was like, "No, we're going to the Boardy barn." He goes, "The Boardy barn?" I go, "Yeah, why? You know it?" He goes, "A friend of mine. He owns it. He's a part owner." I said, "Who? Mickey Shields." He goes, "What?" I go, "Yeah." So he told me and Ernie that he used to bartend at Buckley's, which is in Brooklyn, a bar in Brooklyn, on Thursday nights. And so that winter, me and Ernie went there every Thursday and we got to know him. So the first time we're there, I think it's like a holiday weekend, a lot of people there, like we just got the house, everybody's excited, the barn's open, and there's a pretty big line for the barn. Sometimes the line could be pretty huge.
The barn line could be over 2 hours.
Yeah, it could be certain times it could be 2 hours to get in and people will wait on it. So we walk over, me and Ernie walk over, and we're just gonna say hello. And hey, Mickey, how he remembers us. How you guys doing? He goes, "Oh yeah, we're here with a few of our friends." And he goes, "How many you got?" And Ernie goes, "Oh, we got too many. We got like 40 people. He goes, "Get them together. So like everybody get together. He pulls up the bullhorn and he says, "He's a friend of ours." And he put us right in the front of the line. I consider myself a nice guy. It was the first time I probably got booed by like 500 people.
Oh, they hated us.
They was so angry because they've been waiting on this line for like an hour at least, right?
Ooh, what
And
assholes.
we're all getting booed. 40 people are walking across the parking lot and they cut in front of everybody. They were so pissed. But it was like a common occurrence. Like he was so good with that. He was such a nice guy. It was years later that I hadn't been, I don't think I was at the barn for a few years or whatever, put on a few pounds, walked over to him to say hello. He remembered right away, how many you got? And
Unbelievable.
and they had that bullhorn. It was just so funny how, you felt important, for like whatever it is, the Boardy barn, but I got to pull at the Boardy barn. We can cut the line.
I mean, listen, back then there was no better pull to have. There was
Right.
Oh,
nothing.
no, yeah, that
there
was
was nothing
phenomenal.
I'd rather have than that pull at that time of my life. I'd rather have that than get in first row at the Rolling Stones. I don't give a shit. Because people don't understand. We would go every Sunday up until that point when you guys befriended Mickey. We would have to, it was miserable. It was 95 degrees. We would be online for, we would drink at the house to kind of get a little buzz on before we go to the bar. But then you'd wait online for two and a half hours. No, but you'd wait in the heat. And then you'd be miserable by the time you got into the barn because you couldn't drink on the line because they were kind of policing it. So when you guys got that hookup, it was the greatest thing that ever happened in the Hamptons.
I felt like a god.
Beforehand, we used to go through 2 kegs on a Sunday morning before 4 o'clock before going to the bar.
Yeah, but
And we leave what, 3:30?
No, but Will, you don't remember that was kind of later when we started cutting. It was we did that more because we knew we were getting right in. And it was really Billy and Ernie too, because they would walk up to Mickey and we would all be standing behind them like schlubs, like, kind of waiting. Is he going to give us the okay this week? And we'd always like drag a couple extra people, like say, listen, come with us. We got the in. You can't cut the line. Oh yeah, watch this. And Mickey, bro, with the bullhorn, let them in.
I did find out later on that if I went up at a smaller little group, like 2 or 3 people, we wouldn't get moved to the front of the line. We get moved right through the front doors because the count's here and they push me right on through. So sometimes I'd wander away from all you guys because I knew I could get further.
I remember I went with Manny.
But I got to thank Billy because he's the one that started that hookup, and I just
listen,
Ernie because of the count.
Ernie was my co-pilot. But I remember going one time, and there was a big decent crowd, and me and Manny were there, and I guess people had to get money from the cash machine, and we were standing by Mickey and Manny. Mickey goes, "How many you got?" Mickey goes, "Just us." Manny goes, "Just us." Right.
That's right.
And we went right in, and it was pretty funny because the two of us are standing there, and it was pretty light in the barn yet because they didn't even really let anybody in. The two of us are standing there, and we really don't have anything to say to each other. It's kind of funny. But we just start drinking and you guys were probably about 20 minutes behind. We were crippled, the two of us were crippled. And I remember people were like, what happened? Like, you guys were only 20 minutes. I was like, we ran out of things to talk about, so we just started drinking.
Oh my God.
You remember Manny forgot his ID when we were all the way up front going in, and Manny got stopped because they always checked your ID on the way in, and he didn't have it with him. And it became a whole big deal. And I remember half of us were just like, fuck this. We just went in anyway.
Oh, listen, if you're dumb enough to leave your ID at home at the barn, we're leaving you there.
They let him in eventually just because he was there every Sunday, but it was just like.
But once you got to the barn, it was, not that we didn't stay all together, but it was every man for himself. If you forgot your ID, we're not waiting with you. You're an idiot. You got to.
I took a random people by myself, just in a cab. I got out of somebody's house and drank with them. Got back in the cab, went back to our house.
So many times you'd leave there, you wouldn't know where anyone was, and you'd just get home somehow. Everyone would wander. By the time the end of the night came around, you'd start with 40 people, and then those 40 people half of them would get thrown out or something, and then half of them would stay longer than the other. We would always, would always be dwindling down to a few.
I walked from the barn to the house by the bridge when we had your party out there. I got left at the barn by myself, and I walked in the pouring rain. Miles, right? How far is that? Miles. I got back to the house and I wanted to die.
Yeah, that's right. My bachelor party years later, after our big Hampton years, I did at the Boardy run too, right? That weekend. All right, Ern, what do you got? Number 4.
Well, first time with Manny ever. One year, a scary guy named Manny laid out all the money for the house, and we had to have that conversation with him. He needed extra money. And I had to talk to the scary guy about money. So right afterwards, everybody leaves. It's only me, Manny, and Patty. We're gonna go home the second you get back. We gotta go drive. Patty started making us daiquiris. Next thing I know, we're all in the barn for some reason. We all have work. We all have work the next morning. No plan to go to the barn. We're all scared of Manny, and then suddenly, he's everybody's best friend by the end of that barn.
Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday, man. That was my first year in the house. Manny was in charge of the house. It was, he rented the house under his name, and we were shares in his house, and we had to pay him. And one of the first weekends came across like a tough guy and demanded more money from us because one of the other rooms didn't sell, right, Ern? Something like that, right?
Yeah.
And we were like, well, that's not our problem. We paid for our room. You didn't sell your house. Why do we owe you more money? So we had a big argument with him. And then by the end of the weekend, like Ernie said, Ernie started drinking with him and took him to the barn and fed Manny beers for the next 8 hours straight. And the rest is barn history. We became Manny's best friend. We're still great friends.
That was a good one. Good barn.
Yeah, crazy. And wait, hold on. What about the daiquiris, Billy? When they were drinking daiquiris, what happened?
Yeah, so the daiquiris were good, and the plan was to go home, as Ernie mentioned. I called in sick the next day too, and they were mixing these daiquiris, and Ernie's pounding them, and he's not paying attention. All of a sudden, comes Walker, goes, "I got home." I go, "What?" "I got home." I'm like, "What's the matter?" He goes, "I cut my mouth." I'm like, "What do you mean you cut your mouth?" "Look at my tongue." His tongue is red from the daiquiris. He didn't cut his mouth. Everything's fine. I go, "Ernie, that's the daiquiris." "Oh, okay." He went right back to drinking. It was just so funny. He's like acting like his tongue was like, I don't know what happens when your tongue gets decapitated. I guess it's not the tonguicated, whatever you want to call it. So it was so funny. I mean, and again, those moments, like everybody was ready to go home. Next thing you know, we're in a van going to the Boardy barn.
Yeah, I mean, again, it literally was the greatest time ever, the barn. So my number 4, a lot of great stories happen right after the barn because you are a complete mess, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, everything. When you leave the barn, you are destroyed. So I remember me and Madeline are leaving the barn one time. We just started dating, and where it was one of the smaller houses we had that was like right down the road from the barn. And we start walking back to the house from the barn. Most of the time we'd have to take a cab, but this house happened to be near the barn. And we start walking back, and just, in the middle of nobody's on the street anywhere. Down this road, we see in the distance, in someone's lawn, a random lawn, just on the street, someone is just laying in the lawn, posing almost like a supermodel, like this, but laid out in the lawn. And I can't tell I can't tell what's happening. Sure enough, it's our buddy Dean. Must have left the barn before us. I don't know, maybe he got tired, laid down in someone's lawn, and he's sleeping like this, laid out like a supermodel. And I'm like, Dean? Oh, he turned out he couldn't find the house, and he was too tired to keep walking, so he figured he'd just lay down.
Take a nap, take a rest.
Yeah. Let me lay down on the lawn here and take a little nap.
You'd find people and bodies. I mean, it was mayhem when that thing let out. I mean, right next door to it was a shopping center. And if you were coming out of Pathmark at the wrong time, oh boy, were you in for a surprise.
That helped those people.
Like
it was like the herd from Walking Dead.
Right. It was just, I never really made it that long. Like we used to just get in the cab and go home. And Joe, that night, which was your bachelor party, we stayed till the end.
Yeah.
And I think Dean was hungry.
I still lost you guys.
And we went to the pizzeria in the thing, and I was like, Oh my God. No wonder why the town hates this place. It was just all those people are trying to get pizza. Everybody's starving, you know?
Everyone's like this, like
Yeah,
zombies.
it literally looked like Thriller, you know, like. But yeah,
Oh.
it was pretty funny. Like, there's some, if you go on YouTube, there's some great videos of people taking the Long Island Railroad home from after the barn. I don't know how they did it. They would just get right on the train and go home.
Crazy. All right, Count, we're back around to you. Number 3.
I'm gonna have to go Andrew, the cab driver. I mean,
Oh,
this
yeah.
dude, first off, would take us to every barn. He would also come swim at our pool beforehand, bring us bagels and kegs of beer. I mean, we paid for them, but you know what I mean? He would be a delivery service. And this guy was nuts. I don't know what he was like. There was something not with Andrew, the cab driver, but he was awesome. But he was like, there was something where you knew he could be like nuts.
Oh, he was off. Yeah.
Tell, like, there was a little thing that if he snapped, everyone was in trouble.
Well, I mean,
I mean, all of a sudden, this guy would just come leap into the pool.
right.
He'd
He
have
was
all
a
the shit in the cab.
he was our cabbie that when you'd wake up in the morning, he'd be laying out by the pool in his Speedo.
Kegs of beer and bagels for everyone.
Right. He would just have beer with him and bagels and stuff.
He was like Andrew Eats before Uber. I mean, he was ahead of his
Yeah,
time.
pretty much.
Yeah.
He was ahead of his time.
No, but you're so right. Like this guy became like a staple. If we knew we needed something, we didn't have to call him because he was at the house already.
He was there. He knew he was getting.
Yeah,
his
he
money
was
from us
already
every week.
hanging out,
He
eating
was there.
burgers with us and drinking, and he'd have his cab out front. Okay, you guys ready to go to the bar now? All right, let's
The
jump
cab
in.
driver
Andrew's
was
cab.
drinking with us and
Yeah,
taking
of
us
course.
somewhere. But you know, hey.
And you know, it was more than just a barn. I mean, we would go out at night a lot of times at different clubs and places in the Hampton. So he was the house taxi. You know, he what time you
He
guys
was
going
taking
out?
us.
Yeah, he would come pick us up and give us a good rate. And like you said, we kind of befriended him. Next thing you know, he's coming over for a visit.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Listen, I think at one point we just told, because he was always our cabbie. We just said, "Hey, dude, anytime you want anything, come over and hang out." And you know, we're just trying to be polite. We never thought he'd really take us up on it. he wound up almost living at the house.
I remember
Then
one
he disappeared.
Yeah. I remember one funny story with cabs. It didn't involve Andrew, but 2 cab companies showed up at the same time. And Dean is standing there in the middle. And the guy goes, Dean goes, how much? Guy goes, $10. The other guy goes, 9. The Dean goes, looks over at the other guy. The guy goes, 7. And he looks at the other guy. The other guy goes, free. Right? So Dean looks at the other guy, goes, if you pay us, we'll go with you. So the other cab driver left, and obviously the other guy goes, look, I'll take you for free, but you guys better call me tonight when you're going out.
Little did he know we didn't go out after the bar.
No,
very,
yeah,
very
right.
rarely we made it.
Very
anywhere.
rarely was physically capable of going out.
How come we didn't do that every time from now on?
You're so call 2 cabs and make them battle
make
out for
them-
the price. You're right.
We could have had a TV show, Cab Battle.
Yeah, seriously, we would have Jersey Shore before the Jersey Shore. Our house would have been much more entertaining on TV.
Oh,
be
no,
honest.
no doubt. If we had
Scooby throwing decks of cards into the fan and everything. I mean,
if
come
we
on.
had cameras filming our house at all times, it would have been absolute mayhem. We'd also all possibly be in jail or
Right.
be
Say we'd all
gone.
be in jail.
Yeah. Come on, drunk. What do you got? Number 3.
So it's not quite my 30th birthday, but it's coming up. And we're going to go to the barn on the Sunday, but it's like the week after. My birthday was around Labor Day weekend. So I think it was the weekend before. It was pretty close. So we're like, oh, we're going to go. And someone mentioned, oh, it's Billy's birthday. So I'm having a few drinks before we go. We get there. I'm feeling good. And Eric Anderson, it's like, your birthday's next week? Yeah. Let me get you a shot. Well, he gets me 3 shots of Jägermeister.
Oh,
And he gets 3 shots. Eric is about 6'5", right?
6'5", 450.
Right. Eric's a big guy, and Eric smacks those things back. At that time, I'm no exaggeration. I'm about 160. Right?
Yes.
I'm about 160 at that time. Far from it now, but believe it or not, at that time, I'm going to be a man and stay with Eric. I slap these things back. Within 5 minutes, I am ossified. So I have to use the bathroom, and I make the mistake. I go to a porta potty. I step out of the porta potty, and I just keep on going. and I can't catch my balance, and I just fall on the floor. And I'm trying to get up, and I can't physically get up. Like I'm rolling, I'm trying, whatever I'm trying to do. So 3 big guys pick me up. I'm just so happy to be upright. You know what I mean? And for a second, I'm trying to compose myself. I realize I can't stay here. I gotta go. So I leave. I make the mistake that I'm gonna get into a cab and go home, but I'm afraid I'm gonna get sick. Right. So it was only a 2-minute cab ride. Right. And this was later on, like I was there for a little bit of time. And it was towards the end where this happened. So it was like the barn, maybe I missed it half hour or whatever.
Right.
So I decide to start walking.
Oh,
And
I know
what
this.
a mistake. I did not realize it. Similar to you, Will, it was a far walk. And
Yeah,
as
it's a lot
I'm
further than it
walking-
looks.
as I'm walking, a cab drives by and I'm called an asshole, right?
Yeah,
It's like this.
what do you hear?
Asshole! It goes right by, right? So I'm like, oh man. So I get home and now everybody's home, right? I left before everybody and everybody's home. And Eddie Romeo is standing there and he goes, what the hell happened to you? Where did you go? We were looking for you. I tell him I was messed up. And the walk did me good, actually. I sobered up a little bit. And I said I was walking down the street. He goes, that was you? He goes, yeah. He goes, I think I called you an asshole. He goes, matter of fact, I did call you an asshole.
Oh,
So needless to say, it wasn't a smart idea to attempt to walk home from the barn. But again, the barn, you just get so into it. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. 3 straight shots of Jaeger. Some people can handle it. I mean, that time 2 would have put me over the edge, let alone 3.
but that's not all you had. That's what put you over the
Oh
edge. You
no,
were
no,
drinking the
no, it
whole
wasn't
day.
right. No, yeah, we were drinking the whole day, as we called it, the pre-barn,
You talk about the porta potties. Do you remember the piss wall right
Yeah.
by the porta potties?
That's why you have the background tonight, right?
Oh yeah.
Describe
the piss wall.
tell the people what you're talking about, Ernie.
Well, there was in the back of the barn there was a wall that was just for peeing on. It was like the bathroom is too packed. The porta potties are taken. There's a bunch of guys lined up against this wall.
Right.
peeing
You're,
on.
you're talking about 1,000 people in the place. There's 1 bathroom in the back and then like 3 porta potties. How is that possibly going to be enough? So that right next to the porta potties, people just started going to the bathroom right on the wall.
But it also happens to be part of the dance floor. So people are talking to you while you're doing. What the-
It was so disgusting. God. Come on, Ern. What do you got? Number 3.
I'm back to Manny.
Uh-oh.
I mean, the reason why I love him because he wants to be the center of attention. He loves it even more than I do. And I can't listen to Whitney Houston now without thinking about
no.
it. So his flash dance like dance after the barn to My Love Is Your Love is an unforgettable moment for me.
We have that on video, Ern?
No comment.
Gotta be video somewhere.
I gotta post at least a piece of that of him doing it just to show the people on the deck, slopping around on the deck. I think you guys were hosing him, right? Like the flash dance water.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was impressive.
classic. Oh, it was classic. That was the same night we were eating. Who's somebody's birthday, right? We had the cake. Remember, we had the cake. We had no knives and forks. We were eating with the plates.
Well, that was Colleen's.
Colleen.
Yeah, that was Colleen's cake.
Right? Wasn't it the same night as that?
Maybe.
Maybe.
The hell do I know?
Oh, there was nothing like a birthday bond.
Oh God.
I had
Yeah.
one every year. Me, Jill, Kelly, Colleen too, right? She's summertime, right?
Colleen and Billy were always the very end.
Yeah, because I was August, first week of August. And I think Jill or Kelly was right before me. One of them.
Yep, somewhere in July, I think.
Well, speaking of Jill and Kelly, also known as Big Beast and Little Beast. So my number 3 involves Little Beast. So this is Little Beast's first barn. Now, we've been trying to get Little Beast. She's been, we don't know her as Little Beast. She's just Jill. Her sister has always been the Beast. And there's many reasons why we call her a beast. She would stick her whole hand in her mouth and she'd eat like an animal. And she was she's a mess. Sweet, absolute crazy mess. We called her a beast. So we would call her little sister Little Beast when we never met her before. So we were trying to get her to come up for months and months and months. Finally, I think she just turned 21. She finally comes up to the barn and to the house. Big Beast warns us, do not get her drunk. Don't give her shots. She throws up constantly. If you feed her drink, she's going to throw up. Don't worry. We'll take good care of her. So sure enough, we go to the barn. Dean, 2 seconds into the barn, shots. Starts giving everyone shots. Little Beast does a couple shots. 10 minutes later, she's vomiting everywhere all over the barn.
There were buka shots though. Dean was bad with that.
Yeah. Oh, Dean. I mean, Dean would get everything. And so, in the back of the Boardy barn is a hot dog guy, and they were disgusting dogs. But middle of the barn, you might want a hot dog quick.
They were amazing.
So, Little Beast. Dean is sitting down with Little Beast towards the back. There's a little bench near the hot dog guy, and Little Beast is on his lap, just vomiting all over the floor, going in bad shape. Dean begs me, Joe, please. You got to get me a water. She needs a water. I said, Dean, of course. I'll be right back. I'll get it for you. I go to the hot dog guy. I get a nice fresh hot dog, bring it back to Dean. I say, here, give her this. And that was the Little Beast's firstborn, vomiting everywhere. I was feeding her hot dogs.
That I was there for.
I remember Big Beast just saying, I told you.
Yep,
I told you.
I told you what would happen.
She's like, she's your problem now.
Yep.
And she wasn't
Oh,
kidding.
I was saying Patrick
Never
before.
left.
It was Timmy, wasn't it? What was the kid from the barn? It was Timmy, not Patrick. I was saying Patrick the Little Beast, but it was Timmy, right?
Wait,
Kid
who?
with the hat.
I don't know.
Kid with the hat at the barn. The Little
One
Beast
of our
always gets
friends?
feeling- No, he was just there. Remember the kid used to wear like almost like the jester hat?
I don't remember.
Little Beast always wound up with this guy sometime during the night.
Well, I mean,
I remember when they came back to the house. So Tommy, Will, you left too. And you guys are playing wiffle ball in the backyard. And Dean's in front of the house screaming, help, help. And as small as Jill was, she was like dead weight because she was completely out of it. And Dean's trying to open the door. He's crippled. And he's trying to hold her up. I just remember running around in front of the house. And again, thank God, at that time, we didn't really have iPhones the way we could just film things now. I know we're old, but they didn't even have them yet. If we had those, forget
oh,
it.
no.
God.
Would have been bad news.
I'm so glad we didn't have
No.
that.
Nobody would have jobs today. It would just be-
Don't get me wrong. There's a couple little things that I wish we had captured just to have the moments captured, but
Right.
overall, it would have been way worse for us than better.
We had those giant shoulder cameras, where you walked around like this.
We had
Aldo
stone
still made, right? Made a movie in
tablets.
the Hamptons.
Oh
You
my
know?
Joey's
God.
in my movie, so are you guys.
That's right.
John Winston, right?
On
Yeah,
Wednesday.
John Winston.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, that was classic.
You hear about John Winston?
Oh.
About Billy.
Will, you got to send me a copy of that. I'll post some of it in this
Definitely,
episode.
I definitely will.
Oscar nominated.
Back around to you, Count. What do you got? Number 2.
Number two is going to be, I don't want to say the name of the place because I don't want to get anybody sued, but there was a certain pizzeria that we originally used to order before the chickens, but Babel kind of had a big issue with it because you'd order a pie and they were like $40 each because they were price gouging because it was Barn Sunday. We'll leave the place nameless, but I remember he was like, I'm calling the Better Business Bureau. And the best is, it was the worst fucking pizza, and they charged you like it was a golden slice that you were getting.
But only Babbles. So again, just listen to some of the names we have on this episode. We got Babbles, the Doctor, the Count, Little Beast, Big Beast, Manny. Who else did we talk about today? The Gouch.
Ouch.
I mean, it's unbelievable the people we hung out with. But Babbles, only Babbles. We're starving after the bar. Nobody cares if we spend $40 for a freaking pie of pizza. We'll buy anything. No, we can't order from there. They're price gouging. He wouldn't let us order from.
Remember, Joe, you remember the time we rented a hotel room, like a motel room, and when we got back to the motel room, we're all in our rooms, and the food comes,
Oh yes.
and Ernie opens the door, and he doesn't have enough money,
And we're all sleeping, right?
and we're all passed out, but we wake up starving, and Ernie goes, Ernie, what did we order Chinese food? What happened to Chinese food? I didn't have enough money. I sent them away.
I sent them away.
I said, no, we
It's
didn't
like,
order.
we were sleeping. You just could have knocked on the door. We'd have given you money.
He had
Looking-
money. What do you mean he didn't have? He had the money. He didn't want
Right.
to pay for it.
I remember looking in like the doors open, people walking around Joey's bed. It was on one of those Murphy beds and pulled out. Half of it was up and half of it was out. He couldn't give a shit. He was like sleeping like he was on the clouds. He was just
I
Was that
so
the hotel
comfortable.
down the block from the barn that had the pool and everything?
yeah. It
Like
wasn't
almost the
far.
little apartments.
What happened to Madeline that night, Billy?
Oh, it was just so funny. Yeah. I mean, she was so well, I forgot what you said.
Ernie knows. Ernie and Colleen still use it. Go ahead, Ernie.
Me and Colleen still use this in our regular lives. She's screaming, Joey, can't you hear me? I'm sick. Can't you hear me, you a-hole?
I'm sick.
She doesn't feel good from the barn, of course not. And I'm on this bed that's like this, just like this, out cold with a big smile on my face, relaxed beyond belief in heaven after the barn. And she's screaming at me, don't you hear me? I'm sick, you asshole.
Numb feeling,
Well,
no pain.
Madeline used to always be like, I'm blind. I need pizza.
Oh, God. All right, Bill, what do you got?
Well, this is like a memory, and again, I wish it was one of these things where you did have a camera, but it's like the last barn. And I think, Joe, your brother and sister-in-law, they had their first kid, and so
Oh
we
my
were
God,
leaving
yes.
we were leaving the barn, and we're sort of walking out, and you stopped, and you look back at the crowd, and you go, geez, I can't believe we're gonna have to wait till next year for this. And me and you look at each other, goes, what the hell are we doing? Why are we going home?
Why are
Right?
we leaving?
Why
Get
are we
back in
leaving?
there.
So we go running back over to the bar. And I was like, let me get you a shot. You're an uncle now. We go over to the bartender, and the bartender goes, no more shots, gentlemen. No more shots. So Joey, the smart drinker that he is, he goes, all right, we'll take 2 glasses of Black House on the rocks.
Oh my God, Black House. Oh,
And so he
I can't
takes
even smell
out
it
2
anymore.
cups. It was so fun. It was the most stupidest thing I've ever seen in my entire. He takes out 2 cups, puts ice in it, and sits there and pours Black House into the cup, which was worse than me and you doing a shot.
Of course it was
It was
worse.
probably 3 shots worth of Black House. It was the last barn. That was it. It was over. It was the last one of the season. He could care less. He probably wanted to finish the bottle so they didn't have to put it back. Oh my God. That didn't do me and you any favors, to say the least.
Oh, no.
Oh,
No,
man,
I
Black
remember
House.
that.
I remember at Penny Lane drinking Black House, passing the bottle around, sitting by the pool. And I remember we were so fucked up that I was drinking it, throwing up, passing it on, and I would drink it again when it came back again, like an idiot. I just threw my guts up, and every time I throw my guts up.
We would go to Turtle Bay and they would just give us the bottle.
And they had the frozen one to Turtle Bay.
We even rented. We
Shot.
took over the frozen machine. We said we want this machine for an hour. How much for an hour?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
gotta-
man.
I gotta ask a question. Was the breathalyzer night after a barn?
oh my God! You know what? You can use it, Ernie. It's your pick. Number 2, Ernie. If it doesn't matter, it could be. We'll say that it was after a barn.
All right.
Oh, that was great.
One night after the barn, maybe. Somehow we had a breathalyzer, and we decided we're gonna play a game who could get the high score.
Now remember, we're not driving. We're staying in the house. We're just playing who can blow the highest score.
We're passing this thing around. We're sitting in a circle like Russian roulette or something. We're with the gun.
I remember
Unbelievable.
this.
And of course, everybody's drinking heavily after they say numbers. Oh, I gotta beat this number.
And you'd see a big. Oh, look at that number! Oh my God! Oh, that was crazy. But that was, I remember having so much fun with that stupid breathalyzer.
The intelligence level is amazing.
Oh, it's
And we're all parents, which is also scary.
Not at the time.
oh my God, where do I go? Where do I go with this? All right, I got two good ones at the end here. I gotta go. We mentioned it earlier. Little Beast brought it up, but I don't know if we'll keep her footage into this episode because she was such a wreck. I gotta go back to Dean. Dean always has some good stories. So we're all at the barn. And of course, things happen at the barn. You're at a bar, of course, drinking. You always try to hook up with a girl, or a girl hook up with a guy, or whatever happens. And Dean brought this lovely girl back to our house. I guess, he was looking to hang out with her or hook up or, whatever Dean was thinking of doing. Brought her back to the house. We're all sitting on the couch. Dean came back a little later than us. I guess it took a little more work than he thought it was going to take. We're all sitting on the couch watching TV now. We probably ate our carcasses or our Price Gals pizza, whatever we were eating that night. And Dean walks right past us. Hey guys, walks upstairs to his room with the girl. 10 minutes later, this girl comes flying down the steps, running out of the house like a crazy woman, screaming, "This is the worst sushi restaurant I've ever been to." Now, I don't know, what does this even mean? Did Dean tell her that let's go get sushi at the restaurant? I don't even know. What did he tell her? How did she think she was at a sushi restaurant? We're in a house. I mean, how is it even possible?
I remember at the end of the story, Dean had called her a cab to get her out of there because she was just a mess. And I don't even know if she had money, but Dean was just like, yeah, she's good for it. She's good for it.
All right, Count, back down to you. We're going to go with your number one. Hold on. Let me recap what you got so far, if I can decipher what I've been writing here. Number 5, the chicken carcasses. Number 4, pictures with the Count. Number 3, of course, the infamous Andrew the Cabbie. Number 2, Babbles screaming that we can't order the pizza place because they price gouge. And your number 1 barn story of all time.
My number 1 barn story probably is barn wandering, because towards later in the night, I would get bored of being with everybody else, and I would even go buy beers at other bars just because I had to wander, because I was a man of the people, and I had to go see my adoring fans around the barn, and I would just go around and just talk to people and wander through, and that's usually how I'd lose everyone and end up in a cab by myself, going back to the house or going to someone else's house or whatever. But I always would lose you guys like 8, wandering back into God Bless America, and no one would be around. There would just be disgusting puddles of stagnant beer on the ground, and you'd be sloshing through them trying to get out of the place. But yeah, wandering was fun because that's where I took most of my pictures, because I would just meet random people and they'd be like, "Can we take a picture?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, why not?"
Again, it was like
them in my cape.
It was like Mickey Mouse walking around Disney. Of course, you had to walk around, because if you just stood still, you wouldn't meet all your fans. You'd walk around and people would really want to take pictures with the Count.
100%.
It was no different than Mickey and Disney. It is no different.
No, it's the same thing.
Yeah, no, except Mickey wasn't drunk, but right?
Mickey has sort of a cape, right?
I guess.
All right, Bill.
With the little tails at the back.
We're up to your number 1. Hold on, let me recap.
Okay, go ahead.
Number 5, Ernie, 2 years in, never tipping the bartender. Number 4, Mickey letting us cut the line every time. Number 3, walking home from the barn and hearing "asshole," and it wound up being one of your best friends. Number 2, me and Billy getting one more look at the barn at the end of the night and then realizing, what the hell are we doing? We got to go back in for some shots. And your number 1 moment of all time at the barn.
I'm going to cheat because this is a 2-piecer, all right? I just thought of this one, which was one of the funny ones. So I'm going to start with that one first. So we're at the barn and we're there late and it's time to go home pretty much. And Colleen goes over to Ernie and she says, "Ernie, come on, let's go. I want to go home." And Ernie's like, "No, we're not going yet. This is so great." I come over literally 30 seconds later and I say, "Ern, you ready?" "Yeah, let's go."
Oh, she
Needless
still
to
hates him
say-
for this.
Needless to say,
She still brings us up.
yeah, Ernie was almost killed when we got back to the house. But my main, I just thought of that story. No, no,
Oh.
no. But
Why are you trying to take me from my friends?
yeah,
You're trying
My-
to change me.
my main number one was the first time that I went. That was just such a great weekend.
Oh.
We get up there. I don't know what to expect. And Eddie's house had a lot of attractive ladies in the house. It was very impressive. And there's me. I didn't even fit in. I didn't even. But everybody was cool. They were really nice to hang out with. So first night we go to the beach bar, right? Have a good time. Wake up the next morning, hanging out by the pool, having some drinks. We go to Neptune's during the day. Come back, change. We go to CPI's, and I'm like, this is unbelievable. What a great time. And it's not over yet. And to top it all off, hanging out by the pool. And the next day, it was similar to what our houses were like. Not everybody was going to go. Some people hated the barn. They would never go. And me, Eddie Romeo, and Ray went. Ray hated it after he went. And Jay Zell's wife, Angela, she went with us. I never had such a great time. I mean, it was just incredible. I didn't know what to expect. And it was a little bit more lenient then as far as throwing things. Like, I mean, I remember Eddie told me one time he got in trouble and they didn't throw him out. They put him in the penalty box. He had to stay there for 2 songs, so they didn't kick you out. They had to wait 2 songs.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they would give you the beers in a box. Like, so they would fill up like a can tray, one of those boxes that they had the soda cans in.
Right.
Fill it with beers, and people were walking across, going to hanging out. They tried to, I guess, the barn got not a bad reputation. They cut down on that, but at that time, it was a little bit more lenient when we first went, and they started to get more strict. But I just remember coming home and what a weekend. I mean, it was unbelievable. Like and that's what I told Ernie. I go, Ernie, if Eddie invites us, we have to go. We have to go. And our other friends were there. Like Bobby Monday was in that house. I think Christian Palmieri was in that house. And it was just a great time. And that's where we met Dean. Dean was in a house he got thrown out of. And
Dean got thrown out of a house?
Yeah, they threw them out of the house, and he ended up staying at Eddie's house. And that's how we met Eddie, Dean, and Eric. So it was just.
I met all you guys through Dean.
Yeah, it was always a great time.
I worked with Dean.
Obviously, through the years, we introduced dozens and dozens of people to the barn. Every once in a while, you'd get someone that the barn was just too messy for. But overall, when you experienced the barn, you had to come back the next week. You just had to. You loved it that much.
I mean, to say, like I said, we would go with 20 to 40 people every week.
Right. Yeah. On a Sunday.
It was a shit show, but it was our shit show. You know what I mean?
Exactly right. All right, Ernie, let me recap what you got.
Sure.
Number 5, your first barn.
Oh.
Number 4, Manny barn, which is when you became friends with Manny for the first time. Number 3, the Manny Whitney Houston dance, post barn. Number 2, high score on the breathalyzer. Number 1, barn moment.
One time I got lost in the supermarket parking lot after the barn.
Oh, yes.
I'm too short and it's packed. I can't find anybody. I'm screaming, and there's 30 of you. I'm screaming Joey's name. Like, wait a minute, what if they split up? I'm screaming Billy's name. Oh, this is ridiculous. So I just start screaming my own name. I think if you're looking for me, you'll hear me. And then I'm going, Ernie. I don't know why I was doing that. Like King Kong or something.
Ernie.
Everybody.
Ernie.
Yeah, I was doing that. Everybody was looking at me like, what is wrong with this person? I think that's how I'll get.
Can you
That's all
picture?
Oh man!
Picture this maniac in the middle of the sea of the Walking Dead. First started to scream for us, Billy and Joey. Can't find us, figuring there's more than one Billy and Joey, or he doesn't know which one of us is there. He starts pointing at himself, screaming his own name, Ernie.
And didn't it work?
I eventually, I made a spectacle of myself. Everybody's looking at me. You started looking over there.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
it worked. There's not many people named Ernie. It's not a common name.
Listen, it was obviously hysterical, but a brilliant idea.
So
It
proud.
worked.
All right. So my number one, I wasn't even there for. I'm not even positive it was post barn, but it was definitely Hamptons, and it involves a duck. So correct me now. Is this Christian or Bobby?
Mr. Bobby.
Okay, so our friend Bobby Monday, Ernie, you're in this house, right, with them?
I don't.
No.
I wasn't a share, but I
No.
was a guest.
This was the Eddie's first house.
First
that
house,
we
right?
went
So
to,
we
right.
call this the duck house because there was a little duck pond right next to the house.
Joe, this was a big lot. It
No,
was
I was at the duck house once.
Yeah, the lot was bigger than the house we had.
Right.
These ducks were living it up.
Right. So after the barn, Bobby Monday goes into the ducks area and starts taking off all his clothes. And he walks up to the duck naked. And these are pretty big ducks. And he walks up to the duck, looks the duck right in the face, and leans back and goes, bang! And what do you hear, Ernie? The duck starts going crazy.
They all start running away, but it's a circle. So they're running away, then they start coming up behind us. A whole bunch of ducks.
And when we asked Bobby Monday, why did he go in there and fight the duck, but why did he get naked first? What do you say, Ern?
He said it had to be fair because they were the same way.
The ducks were also naked.
It's before my time, but that's great.
Oh God! When I remember when I heard that story, I said, "Yep, this is the place for me."
So, can I tell a doctor story?
Oh my God! Of course.
Please do. Because
In
I
honor
gotta-
of the doctor. No,
Hold
I-
on. Is it legal in all 50 states? We got to ask that.
no. This is a clean, fine story. So we're at the barn, and it pours out, and we're outside. So there was two things that happened that day. One, it rained out, and we were all pouncing in puddles. And Babbles had like these $80, $90 sunglasses on that fell out of his shirt,
Oh yes.
and we were stomping, and we stomped his glasses.
No.
Right? So we stomped on his $80 glasses, and then the doctor, I don't know why he did it. He takes his sunglasses, fires them on the floor, and he starts just like he likes to stomp the butter. He must have it in him, like he likes to stomp things. So we're completely drenched. We get in a cab, and he takes the shirt off, and we're in the cab and driving,
This is
talking to the cab driver.
Terrible.
And Tommy is in the back, and he starts swinging his shirt around like a lasso. He lets it go. This wasn't his intention. It completely wrapped around the head of the cab driver, and the guy cannot see. And it was a big shirt. And he couldn't do it again if you paid him.
No.
But it went around like twice. It wasn't like it just covered his head.
And it was wet, so it stuck.
Right. It looked like he had superpowers the way he laughed, like Doctor Strange, like his cape, like it just wrapped around the guy's head. The guy is he can't see. I'm like, it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. This guy's screaming, I can't see. He's trying to take it off his head.
I got a good one. Another honorable mention. I believe these are the two culprits, but this is who we'll tell the story about. One time, John the Greek goes into the bathroom and finds Steve the Greek sleeping, standing up at the urinal. Dead sleeping. I'm not sure if it was John the Greek that found him or Babbles, but I think it might have been John the Greek for some reason, I think. Steve is completely sleeping at the urinal like this. Just finds him sitting. Now, I always say, how long was he there? He could have been there for an hour. Who the hell knows? Maybe a good nap.
I got a good Greek story. We were drinking ouzo. It's early in the barn season. We're all messed up. We go to the barn. We come back. He takes a shower. He lays down for about 20 minutes, and he comes out and he says, "When are we leaving for the barn?" He was like, what? He had no recollection whatsoever that we went to the barn. He thought we were lying. Like he thought, like he goes, "We're not going? Really? We're not going? Gone."
And he
We
went
were there.
He went and he came with us.
He went with us. He had no recollection that he was at the barn, none whatsoever. Completely woke up
That's
from
awesome.
asleep and thought we didn't go.
Unbelievable.
I gotta ask, who started the money tearing?
Oh, that's Snyder. What do you think? Who do you think it was?
Well, you used to do it too, so I wasn't sure if it was you or him.
Yeah, it
That was
started.
The stupidest.
But Ernie would panic because they'd come for the money.
Ernie would lose his mind. We'd start ripping a dollar bill. Then someone would pull out a 5 and rip a 5. Tommy, one time we were in Canada, ripped $100. Ripped a $100 bill, just ripped it up right in the middle of the bar.
And Dean enjoyed it too. He was a big
Yeah.
ripper. One time, I mean, it looked like a ticker tape parade. Like there was so many people were walking by, like looking on the floor, like
what the hell is
are you
going
doing?
on? Right.
Right. What are you doing? You know?
Ernie, what do you got? Honorable?
Oh, I was thinking a good cry after the barn.
Oh God.
There was a lot of emotions after the
Evolution.
barn.
So we had 3 guys in the house that looked very similar at different stages in evolution. So we had Ernie, who really looked exactly the same as he does right now. Then we had Dean, who was just about a 5-inch taller version of Ernie. And then we had Eric, who was 5-6 inches taller than Dean and bigger. So Ernie was a little shorter and stocky. Dean got bigger because that's when Dean in his heavy days, and then Eric was like this. It was like it would look like the growth spurt. And now these are the Ernie is maybe not the machoest guy, but these other 2 guys, like I said, pull them right out of The Godfather. Big, mafia.
Dean is
type
Luca
guys.
Brasi by far.
Right.
Dean is Luca Brasi.
Luca Brasi, right? They're sitting. Are you sitting in a circle in the living room crying? All 3 of you?
Yeah. I don't even remember about one.
They're just literally sitting like
Gotta wait
they
a minute.
just start crying. I have no idea why.
I have
Yeah.
no recollection the reason why we were crying.
Good
Just-
cry.
Can we talk about how great the music was there, though?
No, the music's
How
unbelievable.
amazing
I
was
mean,
the barn music.
I think you met someone mentioned
Steelers
it.
Wheel, the Doors,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
There's several, like I have Apple Music, Spotify. They have Boardy Barn playlists. So
Oh, do they really?
yeah,
Oh, I gotta take a look at that.
Yeah. So if people who see this show don't know what the Boardy Barn is, we talk about the music. I mean, that's really a lot to do with why it was so much fun to go to. The music was great. People loved the songs. They would play the Hawaii 5-0 song, and people would be on the floor in a
Oh my
puddle
God,
of
there's
beer,
a lot of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
rowing and stuff like that. And
Neil Diamond. I mean, there was just so
Yeah.
much great music.
and everybody, it's all songs that you knew, popular songs, fun songs to sing along with. So definitely, if you have Spotify, Apple Music, just
There's a
type in
lot. I
Boardy
just
Barn.
looked. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, you type in Boardy Barn and you'll get a good feel of the music they play.
Incredible. This was a good one, boys. This was a good one. Again,
Definitely.
the barn is no more. We had to pay a tribute. We had Little Beast and Big Beast on right before we started this episode. Maybe I plugged them in already. Who the hell knows? But they were they
Look like they came from the barn.
Yeah, they look mid barn form. Exactly.
Yeah. They were drier. That's about it.
Which is really, what else would we expect from those 2 on a random Thursday night, right?
Right.
Overnight for them.
Oh God.
The barn really should have had before and after pictures. That would have been hysterical.
God.
I'm sure there's after pictures around.
Yeah.
I know I have some.
Any last words, Count? Thank you for joining us. It's great to see
It
you.
was amazing. It's just the first time I've talked to all 4 of you at the same time in a while.
Crazy.
Like we've talked here and there, but to get everybody together is pretty awesome. And the barn's gonna be missed, man. I don't know, man. That's like part of my soul that's getting destroyed with losing the barn. Like that was just, there was a time in my life there was nothing better than looking forward to Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even more than that, I remember all winter getting the house together, with the shares. We'd look forward to it all winter. Never mind just during the summer.
Oh yeah.
We would count down the weeks to the summer.
definitely going to be missed.
Yeah, but
I
you
mean,
know, that,
I literally in my basement, I have a like to be 3 foot by 2 foot picture of me in the Cape at the barn by the stop sign,
amazing.
like this. Somehow my wife blew it up for my 30th birthday, and there's this giant picture that's framed that I have hanging in my basement.
Oh my God.
I think I had a picture the other day of, I found, it might be on the Hampton site that we had, Joe, of Will with the Count Chocula box.
Oh, I have that. Yeah, any,
Oh, that
guys,
was another good picture, you know?
any pictures you guys have, barn pictures, I'll post them throughout this. Send me some stuff.
There's so many good ones. I went back on that Facebook page that you created.
Yeah.
If you scroll through those pictures
Yeah,
again,
there's a lot of good ones
you
on
could
there.
laugh just as hard when you first put them
Well,
up.
I finally got mine up there. I finally found them all and digitized them because
Yeah,
I
it's
had a
pretty
lot.
funny.
Yeah. Ernie, last words?
But I do miss you guys.
Yeah, Will, that's why we do that's why we do this podcast every week. We, you know, it's an excuse to get together and bullshit and reminisce and talk about old times and have a couple
Well,
drinks
let me
and have
know,
fun.
man. I'm always down to hop on if I'm available.
Absolutely.
You know, definitely a good time.
Bill, Ernie, any last words?
Long live the bond.
I've been to New Orleans during Mardi Gras, and yet the Boardy Barn is still my favorite bar of all time.
I agree. It's not even
Yo,
close.
you got to end this with God Bless America. You know that, right?
We'll put it on right. What's always right before God Bless? American Pie?
Grand Old
American Pie,
Flame,
that's
maybe?
fuck.
Yeah, it might have been American Pie, right?
No, American Pie. Roadhouse Blues comes after American Pie.
Earlier.
So what was right before God Bless, Ern?
Oh, I don't know.
And on that
Was it
note,
Grand Old Flame?
On
Did they
that
do
note-
back to back?
get out of
No, I
here.
usually so drunk I don't remember.
Tell it. Listen
If
to
you've
that
never heard
playlist.
of-
You'll figure it out.
Right. if
Hey,
you've
I
never-
do know.
What?
It just came to me. New York, New York.
Oh, I think
Oh,
you're
that's
right.
right too. Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
if you've never heard of the barn, Google the barn. You'll see some great pictures. You might even see us in some of them. And go on Spotify. Check out the barn playlist. Any bar that plays this playlist, you know it's a great time. All right, boys. We'll see you next time.